Hello everybody, so this is the first video for chapter 24 on the digestive system, and we're going to jump right in. This one's going to be about to slide 32, I believe. Okay, so this is a huge system. This is probably one of the biggest PowerPoints you're going to have in this class, and that's because there's just so many moving parts and accessory organs for this system. This system gets all of the nutrients that your body requires from the environment. And you need these nutrients in order to make your essential compounds like your macromolecules. In order to get them to build up things, which is anabolism, well, first you take them in and you have to break them down mechanically and chemically. And when you do that chemically, it's called catabolism. So your digestive system includes your digestive tract and your accessory organs. So the tract is all of the tubes and pathways that the food follows directly from your mouth to your anus. So the tract is also called the GI or gastrointestinal tract or alimentary canal. It is basically a big muscular tube that goes from your mouth to your anus. Now, along the way, you need other accessory organs to help process the food down so that the enzymes have enough surface area to work on. And they are called the accessory organs. And they include your teeth, your tongue, and several organs that produce things like bile and enzymes, so glandular organs. Okay? So here are the major organs. We have the mouth, the oral cavity. We have the pharynx. We have the esophagus. We have the stomach, we have the small intestine, and we have the large intestine. So that is the actual tract. The accessory organs include the teeth, the tongue, the salivary glands, the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. So lots of accessory organs as well. So in order to get your food down to the smallest molecular level, we have lots of processes that are involved. We have ingestion. That just means putting it in your mouth. You have mechanical digestion and propulsion. So that's smashing up the food and then getting it into the tube. You have chemical digestion, which is applying enzymes to start breaking down the chemical bonds. Now, we have to get these enzymes secreted. So there's a secretion aspect to this. The biggest job is absorption, though. Once we break it all down, we need to get the tiny pieces into our bodies, into our bloodstream, and then send them to the cells that need them. And then anything that cannot be absorbed has to be removed from your body, and that process is called defecation. So ingestion, again, just means eating. When your food enters your mouth, you have ingested it. And then inside your mouth, you have mechanical digestion. That means mashing it up with your teeth. And your tongue helps by pushing your food up underneath your different teeth. And then we have propulsion starting with swallowing, and that means moving the food along the digestive tract. Chemical digestion, as I said, is applying things like enzymes that will chemically break down food into the macromolecules. They cannot be absorbed unless they're broken down. Secretion is using water, acids, enzymes, buffers, and salts for chemical digestion. And they are secreted by cells in the digestive tract, glandular organs, and your gallbladder. Absorption is after we've broken things down small as we can chemically, we have to get them out of the lumen of the digestive system, out of the GI tract, bring them across the wall of the digestive system, and then bring them into the interstitial fluid and eventually the bloodstream. And then again, defecation is anything that cannot be broken down chemically by your body will have to be eliminated from the tract to make room for the next amount of food. So we spend some time in the colon compacting, dehydrating this leftover waste into a substance called feces, and then pushing the feces out is defecation. Okay, so the inside of the digestive tract has lots of different jobs and all those different processes. It has to safeguard the tissues around it away from these enzymes. Since these enzymes break down different like meat and proteins and foods into their macromolecules, well, those are the same substances that make up your body. So you have to isolate these chemical reactions so that they don't affect other areas of your body with the digestive acids and enzymes. You have to protect the inside of your digestive tract from mechanical stresses such as abrasion. My favorite example of abrasion, again, is that Dorito chip that gets stuck in your throat. And whenever we allow substances like food into our bodies, it is inevitable that they will also contain bacteria. The bacteria that come in with our food, we need to have a plan for determining whether they are friendly or non-friendly bacteria. And if they are non-friendly bacteria, we need ways to eliminate them so that they don't cause sickness. So the peritoneum is the big cavity in the abdominal area that is the serous membrane that lines that bigger peritoneal cavity, right? And remember, serous membranes have a visceral layer and a parietal layer. This one also has a mesothelium, which is a kind of epithelium, remember, and a layer of areolar tissue. And it has its two different layers, the parietal peritoneum, which is along the body wall, and the visceral peritoneum, which is on the surface of the organs. We're going to give it a new name. It's going to be called the serosa. Now, some places will have a serosa, some won't. These two layers will also secrete a fluid called peritoneal fluid that is a lubricant. It allows all the organs in your abdomen to slide around each other without rubbing, so there's no friction. You make about 7 liters of this fluid and you absorb it daily. So there's very little in the cavity at any one time, just enough to keep things from sticking together. If you are not able to absorb this fluid, then it will begin to build up in your abdomen an excess of fluid, and you will create a condition known as ascites, where you have a big bloated abdomen filled with this peritoneal fluid that has not been draining properly. Also, because we don't really have bones and things to protect our organs, and they're all kind of jumbled together inside the abdomen, we have this series of connective tissues called mesenteries, which are where we have both sides of the peritoneal membrane that act as suspenders of different areas of the digestive tract to kind of tack them down and help them hold their position and prevent them from becoming entangled. So the different mesenteries are, again, double sheets of peritoneal membrane. They hold up parts of the digestive tract. They connect the parietal peritoneum to the visceral peritoneum. They give a place for us to have blood vessels and nerves and lymphatic vessels to travel into and around the digestive organs. They help hold relative positions and prevent your intestines, especially from forming knots. A couple of these. We have the lesser omentum, which helps hold the stomach in its position. It also gives, again, a route for blood vessels and things that are going to go into and out of the liver. The liver has the falciform ligament that helps hold the liver up near the diaphragm and up against the abdominal wall. Backside, we have the dorsal mesentery, and on the front it becomes the greater omentum. It comes from the bottom edge of the stomach and hangs down the front on the entire abdomen like an apron, and it often becomes thickly lined with adipose tissue. Yep, that's your pot belly. That's your beer keg shape. This adipose tissue in the greater omentum will come and kind of cushion around the other organs and pads and protects them and the surface of the abdomen, helps reduce heat loss, stores lipid energy reserves, and contributes to your beer belly. The mesentery proper is a really thick sheet that has stability but lets a little bit of things move around, and it holds all except the first 25 centimeters of the small intestine. This one is associated with the mesentery associated with the duodenum and the pancreas is fused to the abdominal wall and locks the organs in place. And anything that is behind this mesentery is called retroperitoneal. It's actually behind the peritoneal cavity. The mesocolon is a mesentery that is attached to the large intestine. So during the baby's development in the uterus, the mesocolon of the ascending colon, descending colon, and rectum will fuse to the posterior body wall, and that will help hold them in their places as well. So here are some of those connective tissues we were talking about. So the lesser omentum is on the top edge of the stomach. This is the stomach here. It's kind of a purse or pouch shape. The greater omentum is attached to the bottom edge of the stomach and would actually cover over all of these. Now, we don't see the intestines very much here. We see a little bit of the small intestine because this image wanted to show you the mesocolon, which holds, this is the large intestine. Okay, and so the mesocolon helps hold up the large intestine, which is also called the colon. Here are the other ligaments. We have the falciform ligament here. It's attached to the diaphragm and runs through the liver. Okay, we have, let me see, can't really see them very well. You have the transverse mesocolon attached here. You can see some of these little lines showing you where the colon is. A better view of this is this one. This one is amazing because now it starts to make sense. We have these attaching connective tissues that attach the liver to the stomach by the lesser omentum, and then here's the greater omentum. And you can see how the mesentery proper holds all of the small intestines in place. And we have the mesocolon, which would be holding the large intestines in place. Transverse mesocolon is here. So they all maintain their proper positions within the abdominal cavity. Down here at the bottom in the pelvic cavity, you can see a uterus, you can see the rectum, and you can see the bladder. Now, there's a really interesting picture similar to this in our reproductive chapter, where you can see how all of these get squashed up together at the top and fit together almost like puzzle pieces when a woman is pregnant, and this entire lower area of the abdominal cavity is filled with the baby. But right now, we're just seeing how they're kind of suspended. So, looking at the digestive tract. Now, this is a pattern we're going to see throughout the digestive tract. Some areas may lack a few of these layers, but if you learn this pattern, this will help you understand the digestive system so much better. So, starting from the inside of the tube, the lumen, the first layer that forms the inner lining of the digestive tract is going to be called the mucosa. And from its name, you can realize there's going to be a lot of glands that secrete mucus. It's going to be made of an epithelium with some connective tissue, okay? And then right underneath that is a layer called the submucosa that's going to have a lot of connective tissue in there. Then you're going to have layers of smooth muscle cells, the muscular layer, maybe anywhere from 2 to 3 layers. And then the outer covering is going to be the serosa, which we've already told you is really the visceral peritoneum. Now there's a little variation as we go through the digestive system to these layers. But again, if you learn these earlier and you learn what's in them, you learn where the nervous system components are, you're going to have a much easier time understanding this entire system. Lining of the digestive tract varies by region. We have a